everyone, I'm Queenie.
Hi, I'm Nicolette and we're licensed real estate consultants in Singapore. So today we'll be sharing about a very exciting launch that will be coming in Pasir Ris itself. It's Costa Cabana and it's an EC. Why is it so exciting? It's because the last time an EC launched in Pasir Ris, it has been 12 to 13 years ago. Other than that, we have the recent new private condo that was launched, which was Pasir Ris 8, that has since performed very well. What we'll be covering today will be mainly about the project information, estimated prices, plans, as well as our analysis of the project. So where is Costa Cabana located? So Costa Cabana is located along Jalan Loyang Besar, which is directly opposite Downtown East and a very close proximity to Pasir Ris Park, which is the seafront. Families will be happy to know that you have 4 schools, namely Hyacinth Catholic, Casuarina Primary, Pasir Ris Crest Secondary, as well as Pasir Ris Primary. So right beside Costa Cabana, we have Sea Horizon, which was the previous EC launch 12 to 13 years ago. In terms of connectivity, just right outside Costa Cabana, there is a bus stop here that brings you to Pasir Ris MRT just 2 to 3 stops away. Alternatively, you could also enjoy a free shuttle service that runs daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. On top of that, what other malls do you have? You have Pasir Ris Mall, which is just directly below Pasir Ris 8, the newest mall in Pasir Ris.
Let us take a look at the project information itself. First of all, Costa Cabana is going to be developed by 4 reputable developers, namely Qingjian, Foxy, ZACD, and Jianan. Some of the notable projects that they have done in recent years will be Jadescape, Planet EC, and Forex at Bukit Timah. These developments actually have 748 units across 16 blocks, and the highest level will go up from 11 to 12 story. Importantly, here we have one-to-one parking, which 8 of the lots will be EV lots. So all the units will be direct north-south facing. The row at the front over here, if you are lucky to get a high floor unit, you will likely enjoy a very nice sea view.
On top of that, the project is also full facilities that comes with your tennis courts as well.
So the most important question, of course, is how much will the developer sell at? So as of now, developer have actually announced their indicative starting price. For a 3-bedder, we are looking at a starting price of 1.43 million, whereas a 4-bedder starting price will be about 1.62 million. So of course, we also have to take a look at the price matrix. So based on the recent EC launch prices, we will be referencing the 1750 PSF column when we discuss the layouts later on.
In terms of unit mix, we do have range from 3 bedrooms up to 5 bedrooms. As you can see, this development is mainly catered to families, with close to 50% of the units being a 3-bedder and the rest being the 4 and 5 bedrooms. We'll delve a little bit deeper into the different bedroom layouts in the next few minutes.
So first of all, our 3-bedroom layout. So there are 3 key different layouts in Costa Cabana, namely the 3-bedroom deluxe, 3-bedroom premium, and 3-bedroom plus. Most parts of all these layouts are quite similar, except in the last layout with the 3-bedroom setup, we still have space for additional study. Across these 3 different layouts, which will be your personal preference or favorite?
I would say my personal preference, and I would say the unit type that will be highly sought after will likely be the 3-bedroom study. Reason being because this layout is pretty much similar to the HDB layouts, whereby you get 3 proper bedrooms and of course you get 2 bathrooms as well. But the flexibility comes from the study, whereby if let's say you work from home or your kids do require additional study space, that provides you that flexibility. Alternatively, for ladies who have a lot of clothes, this can even be a walk-in wardrobe in this study area as well, as compared to, I would say, the other 915 layout, where the study is only 1 square meter and you do have a WC here, which I would say most of the buyers will actually convert this WC to maybe a utility room. So in terms of, I would say, functional, C3 layout would be our pick for the 3-bedder layouts. In terms of price point wise, for the 3-bedders, the compact, we are looking starting from 1.52 up to 1.6 for the 3-bedroom premium plus study.
So next up, let's take a look at the resale performance. Right beside Costa Cabana, once again, is Sea Horizon. So this is also an EC, and they actually MOP sometime back in 2021. Over here, we have actually tabulated all the recent transactions for the 3-bedroom units in Sea Horizon. The key difference between these 2 units, basically, of course, is the size, about 200 square feet different. But if we zoom into the layout, right, actually, the only difference this provides is a bigger bedroom here, okay, together with a balcony that extends to the room. What do you think of the transacted price, or just layout itself?
Okay, so if we look specifically at the overall growth between the 2 layouts as well as the size, we do note that actually they are quite comparable with the growth of about 50% for each unit type. So my personal feel is that this bedroom size, yes, you get it very big, but you don't get additional bathroom. So I would say this layout would probably be more functional if there is probably another bathroom in the bedroom too itself, which can come as a junior master. So it's for bigger families or even multi-gen families, or even potentially people who like to do like a dual key unit whereby you actually can close off this area and this side. So this side is mainly for your own stay and this side to be rented out for passive income. But generally speaking, if you're looking at both layouts, my personal belief is that this is a better layout, more efficient. And in terms of the price point wise also, you don't have to pay more because at the end of the day, what we look at also is your entry price. So as of today, between a 1152 and a 1335 square feet in terms of the quantum difference, we are looking at a close difference of about 200k, which you have to fork out just for a slightly bigger bedroom.
So next up, okay, quite a number of layouts to compare for the 4-bedroom in Costa Cabana. The size can range from 990 all the way to 1216 square feet. So let's dive deeper into where the key differences lie. Today, if I am someone looking for a 4-bedder in the area, I think the first checkbox is I want all my bedroom size to be spacious enough. So in our 990 square feet unit, one of the bedroom is just 7 square meters. So maximally, I can only put a single bed. And if I move down my criteria checklist, another considerations will be the size of the master. So for the 990, 1012, and the 1055 square feet unit, okay, notice the moment you enter the master, straight away you'll be greeted with the wardrobe. So for the bigger units, the wardrobe is all tucked in at one side. Definitely this will provide a bit more comfort for the owners. In this case, okay, my focus for the 4-bedroom unit will definitely be either the D4, D4B, or D5 unit. Right? And between the D4 and D4B unit, I will definitely go for this. Why? Because the only key difference is for D4B, I have an extra balcony in the bedroom. Do I need the extra balcony? Definitely no. But more importantly is how it translates in terms of price, right? So just for extra balcony, I will be paying close to 100k. I think definitely it don't make sense. So between the D4 and D5, why would I pick D4 is because personally for myself, I prefer to have this extra study space. Whether is it to integrate with my master, or this can be a very useful setup for work from home days, or for helper, for other storage needs. So what about for you?
For me, I would prefer personally the 4-bedroom premium plus flexi. Reason being because my personal preference is when I come in, I would like a very spacious landscape living and dining, and this gives me the flexibility of doing so. But of course, if after living, I feel that hey, I don't really need such a big living and dining space, I can always segregate this out to a separate study. So my personal pick is the 4-bedroom plus flexi. So between all the layouts here, we do feel that D5 as well as D4 in terms of functionality and the demand would be there. But of course, price point is always a key factor that we will also look and analyze a little bit more with the client. Now, we also focus on what is in the resale market for a 4-bedder in Sea Horizon. Specifically in Sea Horizon, there are a total of 3 different 4-bedroom layouts, ranging from 1281 up to 1679 square feet. So in terms of the growth for each of the individual unit type, I would say they are generally pretty similar, around the range of 55 to about 60%. And what is the key difference between the 1281 and 1313 square feet? Number one is, of course, the balcony in the master compared to the smaller balcony. So for me, between these two layouts, I do not require such a big balcony in my master, so I will go for a 1281 square feet. And if we're looking at the bigger unit type of 1679, it's huge. A lot of it goes into the roof terrace, but you get a very, 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 very huge master bedroom. This also depends on your family needs as well. This study might not be very suitable if it's in the master if your family members do require to use the study as well.
But I mean, for me, how I look at it is quite interesting to see that actually the growth is almost on par, whether is it we are looking at a smaller 4-bedder or the bigger 4-bedder. On the ground, what we see is for buyers looking for good living space is exactly what they want. So they want to enter the unit to, and really see the space for themselves. So ultimately, okay, they are willing to pay the price tag, okay, and this explains how come, the growth is on par. To put things into context, the entry price for this unit back then is almost a 50% price gap. So one thing good to know is, yes, this price tag has been accepted in the market for a 4-bedroom layout. So Lastly, in Costa Cabana, we have 5-bedroom as well. Essentially, there are only 2 different types of layout over here, but you'll be surprised to see that actually the only difference lies in the size of the balcony. For the bigger unit, the balcony actually extends to bedroom 4. Personally, once again, to me, it is roughly about 60 to 70 square feet. Increase not really necessary, because if I look at price once again, this is almost 100K difference just for a bigger balcony. What do you think?
I think it really depends on your family needs and requirements. I mean, if you do feel that, hey, you require a bigger living and dining space to cater to your family needs, or if you do host a lot, then maybe this layout would be better. Why? It's because in Costa Cabana, the layout's a bit more flexible and it allows you that option to probably hack down the wall for bedroom 4. And once you hack down this wall for bedroom 4, basically you have a very, very big living and dining space, which extends out to your balcony as well. So if you do deck up the balcony and enclose it, then of course you have a really, really big living and dining space. So again, it really depends to individuals' personal preference and requirements. But let's look more into detail what has been transacted in the 5-bedder in Pasir Ris. In terms of the resale market, what are the supply of 5-bedder in the resale market today? Back then, if we dive deeper into all the projects that are within the Pasir Ris area, we do note that in the past there were not many 5-bedder units, except for Resale Bay as well as Costa back then when they launched. There were only a total of 5 units of 5-bedder. What developers do know that more and more buyers are looking for space, and that's why when Sea Horizon was launched in 2012, 2013, why did they increase more supply of the 5-bedder? Because they really noted that there is a lack of supply in terms of the 5-bedder. So for comparison wise, we are actually focusing more towards how did the 5-bedder in Sea Horizon perform.
Before we take a look at the prices, layout wise, at a glance, it could look very similar to what we have in Costa Cabana. So similarly, the balcony does extend beyond the 4th bedroom. Key difference, of course, for this 1528 square feet unit is we have an extra balcony in the master, and this is pre-harmonized, so it includes all our aircon length. Taking note that the setup is very similar, we see that in the resale market, a price range from slightly over 2 mil up to about 2.36 has been accepted in the market. Back to the starting price of our 5-bedroom over here, it is going to launch at about 2.3 to 2.4. Taking into consideration the lease, right, this is brand new 99, definitely this is on par. And of course, as a potential 5-bedroom buyer today, it will be good to know that, this range has been accepted in the resale market.
What we also look at is whether Costa Cabana is launching at a fair price or are they launching above. I think that's very important because when it comes to buying a property, your entry price is also something that determines potentially how will you exit in the future. So if we look back to the recent lands that have been bought from 2011 up to 2024, we do note that previously Sea Horizon was launched about 12 years ago. So the difference as compared to Costa Cabana in terms of what developers have bought the land for is about 100%. So that breaks down to about per annum, which is fair because back in 2011 to 2012, the growth in terms of land cost was 9.6. So, I mean, developers need to make money, right? So today, when they are buying land at a higher price, definitely they will also need to launch it at a higher price as well.
Yeah, of course. I think reason why we want to touch on this is also because, people always say, well, why is property so expensive? But I think we also need to think from the perspective of the developer, and it all starts from how much they bought the land for. So other than looking at EC land price, here we also want to dive deeper into the private land sale in the same area. Here we do have 3 developments launched almost back to back: Sea Strand, Resale Bay, and Costa. All launched within the same time frame, starting from Sea Strand, 2010 at 691 per square feet. So just within 1 year, land price has gone up by 10%. Okay, and for Resale Bay and Costa, ultimately they were bidded about 5 months apart. Okay, and here we see that there was this price gap of 3.6. So in a nutshell, right, we do see that really land cost just keeps going up like Singapore.
Yes, I think the reason why the land cost keeps going up as well is because the government has the reserve price. So it doesn't mean that whenever a developer bids for land, they do get it. If it's below the reserve price, the government actually has the right to reject the land bids. Fun fact is that when was the last time there was a land sale in Pasir Ris that was actually Pasir Ris 8. So Pasir Ris 8 back in 2019, when the developer bought for, the break-even price was 1,232. And fast forward today, where we are about 5 years apart, actually the land is bought at a higher price as compared to an integrated development. So this is really a clear sign that lands bought are not going to get cheaper. It's just going to get more and more expensive.
We also want to take a look. This 1232 PSF, what does it mean for sellers and buyers in the market? So to start off, Pasir Ris 8 is just over the launch weekend, 85% was sold. So the take-up rate was so fast and crazy that within the same day, developer actually increased the price a few times. So this explains why the PSF range from 1,004 all the way to 2,000 PSF. In the resale market, over here, if we are to just streamline to 3 and 4 bedroom performance, we see that on the launch day, the average PSF is 1,005 over. And in the resale market, right, fast forward 3 years later, owners can start to sell already. The average profit fetch is about 500k over.
So if we look specifically into one particular unit in Pasir Ris 8, of course, this owner bought at launch in July 2021. For the same exact size, 1055 square feet, they bought at about 1.536 million. Fast forward in 2025, when they just sold in July for the exact same unit and the same size, they actually sold at 2.32 million. So this shows that, hey, the market has already accepted this kind of price. And the thing is, for this kind of price, what is the kind of layout the people willing to pay for a 2.32 million 3-bedder layout? We zoom in closer to the layout over here. It is actually more towards a 3-bedroom compact in Costa Cabana, because this does not include your household shelter, nor does it have a utility room. And on top of that, the balcony is actually quite big. It extends up to bedroom 3. So personally, if a layout something like that, I would say not so efficient, can actually make a decent profit, I'm pretty sure that a better and more efficient layout in the resale market will perform better as well.
So another perspective that we definitely want to dive deeper into is how is Costa Cabana's launch price going to compare to other ECs launched in the same year. This year itself, right, we have Novo Place, Oriel of Tampines, Auto Place all launched in the west and of course in the Tampines area. Average PSF hover around 1,006 to 1,007, and the developer profit margin is actually 28 up to 35%. So in the case of Costa Cabana, if we are to just take a rough estimate of 35% profit margin, the launch price will be about 1,700. So after Costa Cabana, another development will actually launch in the Tampines West area, Resale Tampines. For this development, because the land price is slightly higher, this will translate to a higher average launch price as well. Overall, if you ask me whether 1,700 range is reasonable for Costa, I would say that this is actually pretty much in line with the market.
The question today is, what if we miss Costa Cabana, what do we have left, right? It's more towards we only are left with Resale of Tampines if we are looking for EC in the east. Subsequently, for the next year, majority of the ECs that will be launching will be in the north, such as Sembawang and Woodlands. And because these projects, the land was bought later than Costa Cabana and Resale at Tampines, of course, the break-even cost is higher. Based on a 35% profit margin that we estimate, what would the estimated launch PSF be? It will be hitting over a 2,000 PSF. So this shows us that, okay, today if you're entering Costa Cabana at about 1,700 range, it is quite safe knowing that your future ECs that will be launching around the same duration will be launched at a higher price point.
Importantly, we also want to visualize when the time comes for Costa Cabana to hit its MOP, what are the options that your potential buyers will have. So once again, in the area, we do have other resale developments: Sea Horizon, Watercolor, Siesta, Ripple Bay, Sea Strand. One thing to note for sure is Costa Cabana is the newest in the market. So when the time comes in 2034, okay, our balance lease is still a very healthy number at 89 years. For other developments, we are looking at a balance lease of below 80 years. More importantly, we want to analyze what kind of price are trending for all these older resale developments in today's market. So what we have done over here is, based on the average PSF this year, prorate to a full 99 price tag. What do you see when you compare 1,790 to all the numbers here?
If I look at prorate, of course, excluding those really older developments like Eastvale, Pasir Ris, Sea Strand, I think overall what price that Costa Cabana is launching, in fact, is on par or even lower than the resales in the market today if we prorate it back to 99 years.
This will be one of the key pointers that we analyze when we want to gauge, is Costa Cabana really launching at a fair market price? And of course, one common thing we hear also is ECs make money for sure, right? What is there to analyze? For sure, because it's subsidized land price, everybody will make money. But then if we really dive deeper into the numbers, actually, which one make more money? Here, we actually sifted out the data for Sea Horizon together with other ECs that MOP in the same year. Okay, so firstly, Forest View. From launch to present, okay, the growth is over 67%. For Sky Park, from launch to present, 92% growth. Next, Sea Horizon, okay, launch to present, 57%. growth. And lastly, Amore Bongo launch to present 83% growth. If we are to tabulate all the numbers in a table over here, you notice actually Sea Horizon fare the lowest.
Yeah. Why are they not performing so well as compared to the other ECs, the MOP, around the same time? And that's where we actually dive a little bit deeper to find out who are the people who are actually buying into these ECs when they MOP. And we noted that the people who mainly buy are mainly HDB upgraders who are staying within the area, because most of our buyers who are reaching the MOP and they want to upgrade, they generally want to stay within the same area because it's somewhere that they are very familiar with. So back in 2020, the number of BTO flats hitting its MOP, we noted that in Punggol and as well as Sembawang Yishun was the highest. And that translates to why Thai Park residents as well as the Amore performed way better than projects like Forestville and Sea Horizon. Because back then when Sea Horizon MOP, the number of flats in Pasir Ris reaching MOP was 0. But in Tampines, there was only 805 units. So this is where our future upgrader pool is coming from. But that being said, is it still safe to buy into Costa, Cabana, and who will our future buyers be? So there are 2 upcoming HDB plots, Costa Grove, which has just collected keys, as well as Costa Rivera. So these 2 projects will reach its MOP in 2030 and 2033 with a total of about 1,800 units. So these could potentially be your future buyers for Costa Cabana because the location-wise is very close proximity and it's somewhere that they are very familiar with.
We also need to take a look at the numbers of a typical upgrader to assess the HDB upgrader. Will they be able to afford the price tag that Costa Cabana costs for the future? So right here, we are referencing the newest cluster that have MOP in the Pasir Ris area. So a BTO owner in the Costa Ris region, they would have bought their 4-room at about 300k back then in 2001. So fast forward to today, average 4-room there can fetch about 740. So gross profit, we are looking at about 40. With the initial 10% down payment of 30k, this means that after the sales, they are looking at about 470k funds on hand to finance the down payment for their next house. So assuming that this will be 25% down payment, this means that the maximum budget of a potential upgrader over here is about 1.88 million. So other than the 4-room, of course, we also want to analyze numbers for a 5-room owner. So in Costa Ris as well, okay, a 5-room BTO owner would have purchased their flat at about 400k back then in 2011, and today's market price is about 930k. With that, the profit we are looking at is about 530k, and with the initial 10% down payment of 40k, the amount of funds on hand for a 5-room upgrader is about 570k. Assuming this is 25% down payment once again, the max affordability of a 5-room owner in the area, we are looking at about 2.28 million. In a nutshell, why is it important for us to dive into this number? And that's because for ECs, typically our pool of buyers are the BTO upgraders in the immediate surround.
So if you're interested to have a look at Costa Cabana show flat, preview starts from 6th of December up to 21st of December with the booking date on 17th of Jan. Feel free to reach out to myself or Queenie if you have any questions, or if you feel that Costa Cabana is not the one for you, still feel free to reach out to us because we will be able to tailor something that is according to your needs and requirements and analyze it together with you.